Nightmare Blunt rotation, Colleen and Cody. No, for real. For real. Okay, so let's get into the video. So this has been sent to me so much in my Discord, and it's from a creator called Jimmy Robbins. And the title alone has me like fascinated because this concept is really interesting whenever it comes to influencer culture and basically people getting called out and people doing really bad things. It is, again, from this creator, Jimmy Robbins, and it says, "Silence saved Cody Co. and doomed Colleen Ballinger." Now, obviously, from that title alone, we can obviously piece two and two together, that basically this concept of people speaking up and trying to fight back in like a egotistical way or trying to just dismiss things can actually have a bigger impact on their career if they're not doing it in a proper way. So I'm excited to jump into this and kind of see what opinions that Jimmy Robbins has on this. And also, I find the Cody Co of it all very interesting because I think that he's one of the biggest creators that has literally had like extreme allegations against him. Like, if we're being honest with like what age Tana was and what age he was, and Gabby Hanna speaking up and saying allegedly that he shouldn't have been doing that and stuff, kind of get away unscathed by it. But then again, I also think like, is that a case of like people aren't really talking about Cody Co anymore, but then he is still, you know, getting received well on social media? And was it that silence and walking away? I'm excited to dive into it. He apologized to the DJ set. Oh my God, yeah, whenever he played Sorry by Justin Bieber, that was so deeply unserious. That was so deeply unserious. Before we get into this video, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. So many people that watch aren't subscribed, and we're getting really close to 500k. And whenever I started reminding people have been like, oh my God, I've been watching and I'm not subscribed. It really helps out. And also, I don't really do sponsorships, but I do have my Patreon, which is a big support, and I have actually done a code for it that it is now YouTube Mucker altogether for 48 hours or just however long people want to do it. I might keep it for a little bit longer because it's been going really well, and people are able to get the Patreon for cheap. You get 30% off my Patreon using the code YouTube Mucker. It'll be linked down below. My November videos are now officially going to be starting. We do videos per month. We're going to be reacting to the Ruby Frankie Devil in My Family documentary, Escape the Night Season 4, which is the Gabby Hanna drama one, and also Michael Weiss TanaCon documentary. But if you subscribe, you will immediately have access to me reacting to Trisha Paytas's Big Broadway Dream, her Broadway show, me reacting to the entirety of Escape the Night Season 1, 2, and 3, and also me reacting to Beast Games Season 1. We will be doing the next season whenever it comes out on that as well, because I actually kind of enjoyed the show, as deeply problematic as it was. I know, I'm really excited for Escape the Night Season 4. I'm going to be starting filming them tomorrow. But anyways, that'll all be linked down below, and I would really appreciate it. But again, please subscribe. So let's get into this video from Jimmy Robbins, shall we? All right, let's do it.
Is out there, it can be impossible to track down and remove on your own. Data brokers collect from public
Not the ad reads. Good for you, Jimmy Robbins.
For any creator or brand, thanks to both their ad-friendly humor.
This has got to be the worst time to confront someone. Right after a haircut? I'm looking fresh as hell in this. What were you thinking?
My mom and daddy got swag.
Oh,
He got some chickens.
And charming personas that allow for chemistry with almost anyone.
I've never done one of these things before.
Neither have I.
Not Shane Dawson. This is nightmare blunt rotation.
You're the biggest liar on planet Earth. You've probably done this one 6 times.
I have. Who's hosting?
You know, it was so crazy whenever Shane Dawson came out and was like, Colleen Ballinger's like the nastiest person or like the biggest mean girl or something like that. Could you imagine Shane Dawson saying that about you? Crazy.
Now I'm confused. I was going to host. We can all host. Okay, sure. Welcome back to our podcast, guys.
Though they became nuclear brand risks overnight thanks to a controversy involving their resurfaced behavior with teens.
I hooked up with Cody Co when I was 17 and he...
Oh. I know when Tana talked about this that like it was a big situation, but the fact that, yeah, he went silent and people kind of just dropped it and now he's back to posting is so deeply unfortunate to me, because I know that Tana like joked around when she retold the story, but the fact that she was genuinely underage and there was a huge power dynamic, and also he was actively, allegedly, from what Gabby Hanna is saying, telling us that, you know, he was being told not to do this and that it was going to be problematic and wrong, is so crazy that like no one, like he just didn't protect her. He didn't protect the minor in that situation. And it is just so fucking creepy and crazy, and like hiding behind the like family man mode, I think, worked for him, and it makes me really upset for Tana, and it furthermore makes me really upset for Tana because I saw a lot of people victim blaming Tana Mongeau because of Tana Mongeau's brand being, like, chaotic and stuff like that. Like, how fucking dare you if you are hearing about Cody Co as a grown adult sleeping with, like, a minor, basically, because she was 17 years old, right? And people are trying to find ways to, like, justify why he, like, would have decided to do that. Like, if that is you, like, fuck you, you're weird, you're creepy, and, like, you're equally the problem, by the way.
He was 25. Gabby Hanna at a playlist live where she pulled him aside and told him, like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up.
She was literally
17 years old, mind you. 17 years old. Like literally. It just is.
in DMs talking to children.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I just had like a visceral full body reaction to seeing Cody Tyler. I have not seen you in a long time. Oh my god, I had a full body reaction to seeing Cody. I have not seen this crazy little diva in a while. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was so jarring. Whoo. These are children.
About sex. Are you a virgin?
At which point their podcast co-host severed ties with them.
The thing I have to focus on is how to move forward.
She just does not exist to me anymore.
Whoa. I didn't realize the parallels here. I really didn't. I remember when this video dropped. Oh my god. I didn't realize the parallels.
They lost various sources of income and now find other big creators unwilling to be associated.
Didn't he came back and addressed this on like his vlogging channel, or no, his running channel, his like running vlog channel, where like maybe like for like a minute he like addressed the like last couple months, but like didn't specifically say anything. These people are horrible.
Associated with them. This led to a poorly received non-apology on their spin-off channels.
Addressed is.
I just think all I can do right now and moving forward is just try to be the best person I can be for myself and for my family, and just try to continue putting the best out there that I can.
Says someone who like slept with a minor.
So that's what I'm going to do. And if you stick around to watch it, I very much appreciate it.
Sorry, it honestly just is really deeply crazy to me. I mean, he literally, like Tana was saying that like he allegedly slept with her whenever she was 17 years old. And he was an adult. Like, it really is like. It's so crazy that like he wasn't like chased off the platform, you know? He was 25, someone commented. That's 2 years older than I am right now. I don't even want to be friends with 18-year-olds. Like, I feel so in different stages of my life to, like, you know what I mean? Does anyone feel that way? Like, when it goes a little bit even younger than me now, even with, I understand that I'm not old by any means, but, like, I'm 23 now, and, like, I even struggle to, like, be friends with people that are, like, 18, 19. Because, like, I just think we're in such different stages. Yeah, you agree? Yeah.
Appreciate it.
The only thing I've ever groomed is my 2 Persian cats. I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser.
Before completely abandoning their primary channel in favor of posting to their spin-off channels like nothing happened.
Cody Co came back with a workout.
Yeah.
I guess
this is really interesting parallels. They really did do the same comeback strategy.
That's the thing. You just come back. I worked out, guys. My felonies are expunged.
Honestly, it's
yeah,
so
what I
true.
raped that girl. I ran 1,000 miles.
This is Colleen, who you might recognize from her many crimes. But she's not in prison. She's back on YouTube.
Yeah, they have a lot in common, but there's one really big difference.
I wanted to make a video with my sister because I like her, and last time we did a video together, we kissed, and I just can't stop thinking about this.
Okay, there's another really big difference. Because if you fast forward to today, Colleen's reach on YouTube has cratered, with her abandoning her 2 largest channels and seeing roughly a 10th of the viewership on her remaining 3rd. While Cody Co, he's doing pretty well. Like, not only compared to Colleen, but compared to...
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem that we face, which is that the world is unfortunately incredibly misogynistic. And by the way, that's coming from the one who spoke about Colleen. Like, it's so clear, it's bright as day when you look at this situation, that Colleen and Cody clearly did the same strategy after being exposed for, you know, like inappropriate relationships with, you know, underage people with whatever capacity and extremities they had. And Cody Co was able to do the same thing that Colleen did, you know, coming back on a certain channel after a certain amount of time, addressing it barely, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Colleen did do the toxic gossip train, and it is important to note how, like, if she didn't do, I do believe that if Colleen didn't do the toxic gossip train, that things would be completely different. I think that was the final nail in the coffin. I think it really showed, you know, her ignorance, and I just think the ridiculousness of it. But if we were to take the toxic gossip train out, I still think that Colleen would have faced a similar fate. But people are misogynistic, and people hold men to such a less standard than they do with women, and it's so deeply fucking misogynistic and such a fucking problem. We see it in mainstream, we see it in workplaces, we see it in our day-to-day lives, and fundamentally, that's what's happening here. And it pisses me off because, you know, as someone who spoke about Colleen, like, why is she so hated, but Cody Co isn't? You know what I mean? And I really don't think anyone, like, could say that better than me. You know? In this situation, that would be like Tana talking about Cody Co. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating how higher of a standard women are held to than men.
To really any YouTuber that faces cancellation, even some who end up being absolved. I mean, sure, his views definitely took a hit, but he's still clearing hundreds of thousands of views with ease, making, if I had to guess as someone in an adjacent niche, a luxurious living from just YouTube, to put it lightly. So am I saying that Cody Co has secretly been one of the world's top minds when it comes to content strategy and PR?
Colleen played a Streisand game. I guess so. If people don't know what that is, basically, they call it like the Barbra Streisand effect or the Streisand effect, where I think a media outlet had posted a photo of like Barbra Streisand's house, and like no one knew it was her house, and then she sued and was like, why are you posting my house? And then everyone knew it was her house, and then it blew up into this big thing. So when Colleen made that video, it brought it to such a mainstream level. That's a good point.
Not quite. The reasons he's managed to be the exception to the rule are actually pretty simple, though it's a troubling sign for the future of content creation. Now, Cody Co was of course a huge creator that made the classic transition from Viner to YouTube commentary creator.
I think it's the audience that you built when you're exposed as a liar if it hits. Meanwhile, Cody had an audience of frat boys to begin with. Also a good point.
When Vine died, we started trying to do like videos that were basically just longer versions of Vine. It seems like we all do this exact same thing now, which is absolutely great.
Though he opted to center his videos more around lighthearted and cringy content than some of his counterparts.
There's a lot of weird men online grifting off of young, lonely, vulnerable men by promoting a weird, like skewed, dated, and harmful version of masculinity.
All right, today we have Spot the Pregnant Person. She's right here! You guys, I found her!
And while many of the other commentary creators of his time have shifted to more scripted content resembling video essays,
protein, one of the internet's most fervent obsessions. Protein is the part of food that helps you build and maintain muscle. It's how guys like Justin and I have gotten jacked out of our mind.
Cody has continued to lean on personality-based, off-the-cuff videos, and overall, his content was pretty inoffensive. I mean, while specifically fixating on cringe content does have a negative connotation, the humor of his videos would remain pretty good-natured overall. For example, when a teacher decided to respond to Jake Paul's teacher diss track, yes, that really happened.
How to get a DM back, how to buy a Lambo cash.
Do you remember the era of diss tracks? Luckily, that was one era of YouTube I really didn't engage in. Thank God. Oh my God, thank God. I remember, like, seeing Gabby Hanna post roasts and stuff like that, and she took hers seriously. I remember. And it was just such an awkward time period. That to me was like the Team 10 era. And I just was, I actually was busy working for Colleen during those years. So I was busy anyways.
My teachers never told me that.
With their own song.
But I'm here like every day, bro. So how you gonna diss me with that Disney Channel flow?
I have never seen this. And I honestly would have lived a really beautiful life had I not seen this.
Students know I got their back.
Cody and his then collaborator, Noel Miller, used that as an opportunity to continue dunking on Jake Paul.
But I do it for the kids, and they know that's a fact.
You see how he's like, even he is like riding it a little bit?
Yeah, no,
he's putting a little something into it. I don't think Jake Paul understands that him and all his, they sound like Kids Bop.
Yeah.
My teachers never told me that!
Yeah.
Rather than make fun of the teacher trying to do something good for his students. And because his videos sat closer to the reaction side of the commentary spectrum, it was an easy format to pump out consistently. So when you take a charismatic and funny creator consistently putting out good-natured content with no particularly off-putting traits, and give them the advantage of having a strong following elsewhere, not to mention an endearing public relationship to an equally charming partner,
Improve my skills with the iOS SDK.
I feel like you're like trying to be smart.
I know. Clearly.
But you're so naturally smart.
I'm not, though. I'm not.
Well, not when you're like, prove the iOS 6K.
And being part of a strong comedy duo, and yeah, it makes sense that Cody Co became one of the most successful Vine refugees. I mean, he was basically a charming frat bro without any of the negatives of that trope.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You guys were saying his audience was like frat bro core. What's so funny is I never watched his content. Obviously, I really wasn't the demographic, but I really don't know many people in my life that did, if any. My brothers never watched him, which surprises me because like I feel like that would be content that my brothers would watch. you know, they're a little bit older than me and they're straight boys. So obviously, like, that's kind of his audience. They didn't even watch him either, which is really interesting. I don't really know anyone in my life that watched him, but he is incredibly popular, or was and still is.
Rope. Or so it would seem. Because in May of 2024, creator Tana Mongeau said that her and Cody had slept together when she was 17 and the latter was 25 in approximately 2015. And at first, this story went largely unnoticed, partially because Tana was talking about it a lot, but with a disclaimer that downplayed it.
I mean, I look back and I would never do anything like that. So I'm like, what the f was wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I don't associate or hold it with trauma.
But I would say it was mainly because it was.
Also, I feel really bad because it was very clear to me that a big reason that Tana was doing that was because people online have painted her as such an irresponsible, unreliable, you know, storyteller and also narrator. And that does have a knock-on impact as to how people hold themselves and talk about their stories and all the rest. And we see that clearly with Tana, with a lot of stories, that there's been this knock-on effect, you know, after she's been, you know, called out for all of her story times and the overdramatics and stuff, where whenever she is speaking about things in her life that, you know, deemed to be real and truthful, that she'll downplay it because she thinks that people will think that she's going to be doing another I got fucked with a toothbrush. You know what I mean? The over-the-top dramatics, which is very unfortunate because there's really no way of reversing people's opinions of you whenever it comes to things like that. If people believe that you're an unrelatable reliable narrator, they will always feel that way. So you're always going to be fighting against that. But it seems to me that that was a big reason that she was downplaying this story when she would say it, which makes me really sad because I look back on situations, and I know my friends look back on situations where we were put in situations or we in the moment agreed to things when we were too young to agree to those things. And when you get older and closer in age to the person that did those things to you or you engaged in that with, you start to be like, whoa, I would never do that. And Tana is now, you know, around the age that he was. So she should be allowed to reflect on that and call it out. And it really, really, really bothers me when people act like she shouldn't.
Wasn't something that the biggest commentary creators on YouTube were covering. I know that sounds weird, like I'm not a fan of people blaming creators based on what they won't do, but in this case, it actually is relevant. If the criticism being aimed at a creator is coming from outside their audience, the viewers will likely assume that the reporting is in bad faith. That is, if they even see the reporting. Because how often are you checking Rolling Stone for the name of every creator that you watch? Not to mention that a right or left-wing creator criticizing the other usually leads to an echo chamber effect because we all default to our preferred narratives, right? And for commentary creators, speaking out against someone with whom they share an audience comes with a real risk, because that shared audience can be turned against you if you're found to be the aggressor or unethical one. But D'Angelo Wallace eventually broke that dam.
Alright, Cody, let's have an uncomfortable conversation.
While also calling out the aforementioned silence.
Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her.
I get so annoyed whenever, like, people don't acknowledge that there are, like, entire niches on YouTube that do talk about these things. Like, I love D'Angelo so much. I really, really, really do. But there were so many people calling this out before D'Angelo. Yes, D'Angelo probably made it very, very, very mainstream, but, like, come on now. You know what I mean? And also, Tana, I've been talking about it for so long. I do love D'Angelo, don't get me wrong, but it always frustrates me whenever, like, it's acted like the internet didn't care about things before, you know, one person or one creator, because that's not true at all.
When she was a minor, but YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana Mongeau.
This suddenly led to conversations about Cody's actions being at the forefront of YouTube rather than being pushed to the side.
That's a huge allegation that actually has a lot of evidence backing it up, which D'Angelo Wallace covers in great detail in this video. It's not some imaginary nothing burger that someone squeaked out between their butt cheeks to try and ruin Cody Co. It's a serious accusation that appears to have a lot of evidence about it.
And in an instant, he became radioactive, bleeding hundreds of thousands of subscribers while creators quickly distanced themselves. And then, well, first a quick refresher on Colleen. Because Colleen was an even bigger creator with prolific channels across all kinds of niches, though most notably was the Miranda Sings character that she would lean on for various types of comedy videos.
I know the problem. You guys don't look right. You don't look like superstars. Perfect! Now you guys look like pop stars.
This led her on a path to Broadway, making her debut in Waitress and later being cast in an unknown musical that they were let go from, actually as a result of this controversy.
It was an audition for a Broadway show, and I got it, and we, had dates set, and I was really excited to go do Broadway again, and then it didn't happen.
And I was really sad about that, and I'm not going to get super into it, but obviously a lot happened last year, a lot was said last year. I lost that opportunity right after a story came out about me that was just completely made up.
You see, various former fans...
Womp womp. Womp womp. I can't believe she still dies on the hill that I was lying about that. She's so fucking crazy.
came out with accusations against her, including speaking inappropriately to them in DMs and group chats.
Adam, you need questions for your Q&A? Are you a virgin? To a 14, 15-year-old. And then furthermore goes on and says, what's your favorite sexual position? And Colleen, for all the messages that I've now for the first time shown my mom that you have messaged me, virgin, ass pics, sexual position, period talk, like...
That's my favorite thing about when she says that it's lying. I'm like, wow, she really just be like going out on a limb. Because like, the reason the story blew up is what it was because number one, people love a receipt. And my God, that story, I gave you them. You know what I mean?
This, your ex-husband, Josh's size.
As well as humiliating her fans for a laugh during her live shows.
I got called up for the yoga challenge. Now, as soon as I stood up from the audience, I saw Colleen's eyes widen because she realized I was not wearing pants. But for some reason, that didn't stop her from continuing. I am laying down and Colleen is spreading my legs basically as far as she can. I will never forget where I was laying under Colleen and she was smirking down at me while thousands of people were laughing, and I was terrified that my body wasn't covered up enough by the spandex or the romper. I basically felt naked, so it felt incredibly violating.
Cue, well, much of the same reaction that Cody got.
There's mountains of like actual messages and video.
Also, sorry. Just one thing that like I always wish that like would like resurface again is how Colleen's fucking brother Trent used her fame to basically be inappropriate with fans and DMs. My God, I wish someone would pick that up again. That really got diluted in the overwhelming amount of other stuff that was coming up. But my God, I wish that was focused on more. And I tried. I was making videos on it. I was calling it out. I was platforming Oliver's story. But my God, the public did not want to focus on it as much as I believe it should have been. My God, there's your story, y'all. You know, the family are fucking utilizing her fame to be inappropriate with fucking fans and DMs. Why did you not focus on that, people? Like... And this is me saying thank you for focusing on my story. Yes. Thank you for, you know, also with Becky and stuff. But my God, why did people not focus? Like, literally Oliver speaking up about this, I'm pretty sure was still a minor or maybe had just turned 18 whenever he spoke about it. Like, why did that not get focused on enough?
Videos of her engaging in very, very bad behavior, very awful things, which has led to people labeling her things like a groomer and a predator, which she really doesn't like. But that's what all of these documents point towards.
Which makes sense, and I'm guessing you know why. As a society, we tend to take any injustice committed against kids much more seriously. So while yes, reactions to controversies and cancellations can be pretty widespread, that tends to change once minors are harmed in any way, to the point that it tends to cloud judgment and can lead to skewed facts being spread because no one wants to risk enabling someone harming kids.
The term pedophile refers to people who are attracted to those that are prepubescent. Then there's something called a pedophile. That's people who are attracted to those in the early stages of puberty. It's very hard to explain the difference without sounding like a pedophile.
And in the case of both Cody and Colleen, the accusations were damning, as other creators were able to corroborate Tana's story.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a playlist live where she pulled him aside and told him, like, yo, she's 17, and then we still went and hooked up.
While Colleen's actions were very well documented. But again, enough people are still watching Cody for him to be considered a very successful creator, when arguably his controversy was worse, as it crossed lines that Colleen's didn't. So why? Well, if we look at this from a feminist perspective, What? I should just stick to the whole media nerd shtick? Oh, because there's a really bad precedent of male creators speaking on behalf of feminism? I mean, fair enough. So if we look at this from a PR perspective, it starts with their immediate response, or in Cody's case, a total lack thereof. You see, Cody Co initially responded to this by...
I really do believe a big reason in this, though, is just pure misogyny. Again, I want to really double down on that, but then the toxic gossip train is also important to note that that is a big reason that she is dealing with what she's dealing with, but I still don't think that takes away from the misogyny of the media.
Specifically not responding to this. While some creators respond to controversy by pumping out content as quickly as possible to hurry up and flush out those speaking against them, he and his wife Kelsey both suddenly vanished from the internet in order to regroup. Well, other than a quick DJ set or two.
When he was in Vegas, when this was all going down, and he hit play on Sorry by Justin Bieber, I went, wow, this motherfucker is so fucking unserious. That was so crazy.
That's not a joke, by the way. He happens to be a DJ, and while totally ignoring this controversy, he was still going at it. Though in fairness, it's likely those obligations were made beforehand, and, well, legal issues aside, you don't want a reputation of being a no-show.
XQC is the least reliable human on the planet. Anytime I've ever asked him to do something, he either says yes, then doesn't show up, or doesn't reply at all, and then complains about not being invited on stream. I will never do a collab with him again.
But yeah, it seemed like he would show up, do his set, and would bolt out. See, this controversy was a really big deal for Cody because of the brand he had created. Again, I will always stress that a creator creator's rise is what determines.
Oh my goodness, so many jump scares in this video. First, Cody Tyler. I know we've got Ned Fulmer, who, by the way, I saw a TikTok and it was like his videos have like so many views and like not that much engagement that people are like, what's going on here? I need to dive into that sometime.
Their sudden fall. I don't think something like this would have been a big deal to, say, an Aiden Ross or Jake Paul.
Lil Tay be poppin'? Lil Tay be poppin'?
Because that's the kind of thing they've taught their audiences to expect. And for commentary, this trap is especially easy to spring. Why? Well, you're mainly just giving your opinion on stuff, right? So pretty often that's going
Sucker for Green, amazing song. Also, Growing Up, great song by Lil Tay, y'all. I'm afraid of growing up. So good.
Include calling people out for problematic behavior. I mean, if you're remotely familiar with the commentary space, then you've probably woken up to a feed filled with every commentary creator making basically their version of the same video. All that to say that the primary thesis of most commentary videos is some kind of criticism. So intentionally or...
Oh my god. Are you serious? Sophia, who I met on tour, just tagged me, last minute gay Halloween costume, and it's my tour outfit. Oh, this is amazing. And created a pink microphone. That is incredible. This is so deeply unserious. Oh my god, wait, I need to show you this. Let me airdrop this to me. This is so funny. Oh my god, Sophia, I don't know if you're watching. This is so deeply unserious. Last minute gay Halloween costume. I need to send this to my family WhatsApp. I hate gay Halloween. What do you mean you're Adam McIntyre on the Chronically Online tour? This is so funny. The fucking pink mic is everything. I met them at my New York show recently. I remember you. I'm gonna make, what do you mean you're Adam McIntyre for Halloween? It's so deeply unserious. It's also such an easy costume. It's a black tank top and thing. Oh my god, you've drawn on my tattoos! Whoa! Wait. Whoa! Come on! Look at that! Okay, I'm literally just flashing you. Look at that! Wow, bravo. 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 Amazing. All right, let's get back in.
Or otherwise, it's easy for your criticisms to simultaneously elevate yourself on a pedestal that you might not necessarily be deserving of. And this trap is one that some commentary creators have even acknowledged.
I've made a career off publicly shaming people for mistakes that they may have desperately regretted. And of course, it's ironic that
Where's the hoodie from? The hoodie is from Bershka.
I've spent hours over dozens of videos laughing at people's...
Guys, what happened with Nick is Green? Yeah, what happened with him again? What happened? What happened? Something happened, right? A lot. That is quite unhelpful. He's really negative. You always wear the cutest top. That's not what I'm asking. God bless you. Yeah, I remember something happened. His friend got in a controversy and went hard. He went hard in there. It was a big controversy with Super Mega. Oh Lord.
Mistakes in the way they respond to criticism when I myself have been closed off to any criticism or feedback that I receive on my own videos.
I mean, hell, even Cody kind of did in his apology.
You know, I spent the first half of my career criticizing people and judging people online, so, you know, I don't begrudge your judgment of me by any means.
So in the case of Cody, well, he's called out men who are creepy to women.
He just, like, actually gave the bad kind of chills to 4 girls at the same time. That is an impressive thing to do. You really gotta say something creepy.
Or otherwise sexist or incel-y.
Today we're gonna go through, like, the classic pickup artist, like, courses. You know what I'm talking about? Where, like, a group of dudes
convene in like a Hilton convention room in Vegas, and they learn how to like make fun of women to their face, basically.
What's more, even when making fun of women, he would maintain focus on their behavior and toe the line pretty effectively, considering his core series involved making fun of cringe.
Just two sisters striving to be God-defined girls in a culture-defined world. Culture-defined world. What else would it be? The other thing that defines groups of people, right? When they, yeah,
right. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
I mean, hell, he would even touch upon other women reinforcing gender roles and misogyny.
If he's serious about overcoming a sin, he's going to make the steps and take the steps to go find an older, godlier man in his church who can hold him accountable.
So she's crazy how he was considered a he literally said, ladies, I'll take it from here. Ladies, I'll take it from here. Ladies, I'll take it from here. Performative male of the year. Winner, Cody Co. Winner, Cody Co.
She's saying you're not going to be able to help him. He needs a
To be honest, girl defined is the easiest low-hanging fruit.
man to help him. Like, that's just fucking sexist, straight up. True.
So while I wouldn't say he crossed into being like a performative male feminist type, his content was kind of presenting himself as aligned with women. Or at least as much as you realistically can without getting blatantly political. Once again, I would argue that Cody Co had this real appeal from the fact that he had all the charm of a boy, but without the problematic elements that make said boys difficult.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting when you put it. That he was the fuckboy with like the fuckboy bad qualities. Well, until it got exposed. Which makes sense as to why he would do the things that Tana was accusing him of.
Which I would say made him appealing to the female demographic. And then for men, well, he's one of the boys, right? But yes, Cody Co went radio silent the second D'Angelo's video made the rounds. Let's compare that to Colleen, shall we?
Also, it really pisses me off that not only did he go silent after D'Angelo's video, but Tana had been talking about it, and like a bunch of people, and like including us, have been talking about it, and the motherfucker was still posting. Like, it's just so, it's so annoying to like selective outrage.
I've been wanting to come online and talk to you about a few things. Even though my team has...
Oh my god, this with the instrumental removed is very, very, very alarming.
...strongly advised me to not say what I want to say, I recently realized that they never said that I couldn't sing what I want to say.
So it's...
God, with like this strums, it makes it scary.
Pretty subtle, but if you really pay attention...
Ominous as hell, yeah.
You might see a big difference already. Yes, in Colleen's case, she was less restrained, considering her response to this day is known as perhaps the single worst response video ever? Yeah, if you couldn't tell, she decided that breaking her silence with song was the appropriate response. And this was terrible for a few reasons. First, the whole girl with ukulele genre on YouTube kind of peaked in the mid-2010s, but almost as important was...
If you know Colleen, you know she never put that goddamn fucking ukulele
the tone.
down.
There were multiple teenagers and young adults, face and all, who were making very serious claims about Colleen's conduct with a lot of evidence against her. So to reply in song, even if it's supposed to be self-deprecating...
I wonder what her thinking was. I really, really, really wonder what her thinking was. Like, she didn't think. That's the only way to explain it. Like, I'm like, did she think that if she did it as a song that people would be like, oh, she's not taking it seriously, so it's not serious? I don't know. I don't think there's much. This is gonna eat, she said.
It's kind of like when you go to like a family gathering.
Oh my god, it's kind of scary without the ukulele. If she had done a video without a ukulele, I think it would have been scary as fuck.
You know, and there's a weird aunt there, keeps coming up to you and going like, hey girl.
Also, the concept of her like thinking and like coming up with lyrics for this like in advance is crazy.
Girl, what's the tea? And you're like, ugh. That was me, but in group chats with my fans. It was weird.
Ultimately just made it seem like she didn't take any of this seriously. Worst of all, it became a pretty big meme on TikTok. Bad apology videos are common, sure, but usually one still image doesn't immediately tell you everything you need to know. I mean, personally, I can only think of 2, maybe 3 apology videos that have become a one-frame meme, and none of them did on anywhere near this level. So it was able to spread quickly. There was also the fact that many of her, I still can't believe I'm saying this, but lyrics completely misrepresented the claims against her. Like,
I'm just a loser who didn't understand I shouldn't respond to fans, and I'm not a predator, even though...
Oh my god, with like the fucking strums, it's so scary.
A lot of you think so, because 5 years ago, I made a fart joke.
Doesn't exactly detail having group chats with teenage fans where explicit conversations were being led by Colleen, right? And while sure, Colleen was known for more juvenile humor, her image still led to fans expecting much more than they got, especially since juvenile humor landed her an audience of largely teens. So for the onset of the accusations, maybe you can see the first big difference, because that's the secret. Cody succeeded by doing nothing. But okay, I should probably explain what I mean, right? Apologies are tricky on YouTube, because if the public feels entitled to one, then ignoring those calls will be seen as only making the original injustice worse. But that really only applies to people who care enough about a creator to hear about their personal wrongdoings from a third source. But what if you're not following any relevant subreddits, or you exercise good judgment and stay off of Twitter? Then you'd likely never hear about a given creator controversy.
I think this is a good point, and I think, again, it goes to show that it was a Streisand effect with Colleen bringing attention to the things that we were saying about her, because obviously a majority of people wouldn't have cared, but then people cared because the video was so ridiculous that in turn they then found out about what happened.
Since it's more than easy for said creator to moderate their comments. I mean, that's part of the reason that when creators do make apology videos, they often do it on a secondary channel with a smaller viewer base. That way, they technically address it for those who care, but it can go unnoticed for those who haven't a clue. So how does that relate here? Well, Colleen's artistic decision was posted to her vlogging channel, which, while not as meteoric as Miranda Sings, was still a pretty notable channel with a comparable monthly viewership. What's more, her statement went in a dedicated video. I would argue this helped it be even more viral, not just because more people will watch when they know it's an apology, but because of the meme it became. Like, in the weeks following her response, if you had seen this thumbnail, there was a very real chance you'd recognize it and go, all right, there's no way it was that bad. Right, let me just check it out. While Cody posted it on his third channel, not on the commentary.
Also, yeah, it's so crazy that, like, Cody has so many fucking channels that he was able to put it on, like, a running channel. What do you mean?
Cody Co one, or the Reacting Cody and Co, but on Cody Trains. And before you get your hopes up, no, it's not a channel where he tells us about a vital yet underfunded part of our transportation infrastructure, but a vlogging channel about how he runs marathons. I am serious. That was where he broke his...
It really is so crazy. Like, it's not even... I can't even be like, wow, this is so clever. This is so... It's so stupid. It's so stupid, like...
Internet silence. But not only was his statement beyond vague, I mean, you wouldn't have a clue what he was talking about out of context.
Obviously, I understand I've been offline for...
Also, another thing that YouTubers will do, which is a very loose statement, and then their fans will defend, well, they did address it, and go back to that.
Months, haven't made videos for, you know, that whole time. And I also understand if your opinion of me has potentially changed over the last few months.
But this statement was buried at the very end of an unrelated video.
To say it's time to get back on the horse.
This is so deeply unserious.
You know, being creative, doing this type of thing, and putting it out there, it's just in my DNA. I need to do it.
Men truly are the worst. They really just get away with anything. The bar is so on the floor.
And so I'm gonna do it. Obviously, I understand I've been offline for months.
Like, getting to the bottom of the situation would be so much more confusing for a viewer than if it was a...
Yeah, the apology was buried in, like, so many different ways. Like, it was buried on his third smallest channel, but then buried at the end of a video on that.
Creator who has just one channel, like me. So subscribe. That way, when I do f up, you'll see that I have no choice but to grovel on main. Place your bets on if I got clipped on TikTok one day with a, that didn't age well. Anyway, even if a viewer is dedicated enough to follow the breadcrumbs home, his language would likely lead you to assume it's a smaller situation not worth following up on. Because here's the thing, given the nature of the offense, yeah, he knew that his days of being mainstream were more than likely over. I am very confident in that. But it makes for a good test drive. You can see how many subscribers leave the channel composed of your most loyal viewers as a temperature check for your general audience. Even better...
It's a good point as well, when it's your smallest channel for a niche subject, which is like running and stuff like that. When you post a video addressing it, what's the response like there? Because that's your core audience, you know what I mean? They're subscribed to your most niche interest. That's a really great point from Jimmy.
Drop it right before Christmas when people have other things on their mind. Unrelated, but I happened to be listening to the Outer Wild soundtrack while writing this part, and I actually think it would have done wonders for his messaging.
All I can do right now and moving forward is just try to be the best person I can be for myself and for my family, and just try to continue putting the best out there that I can. So that's what I'm going to do, and if you stick around to watch it, I very much appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, truly.
Like, I almost had to remind myself that we're not supposed to root for him. Though I will say, I've commented before on high production values for apologies being a bad idea, because it makes you seem less relatable while reminding people of your possible wealth. And Cody followed this so well that this is what his footage looked like, while there is a literal multi-cam studio right behind him.
Oh my god, that is such a good point. It's like when people film apology videos in front of their bed. What do you mean you set your camera up in front of your fucking bed?
Anyway, Cody's exercise and data collection then seemed to pay off. I mean, 400,000 views resulting in the loss of 4,000 subscribers, that's manageable. And so he went back to posting regularly on the Cody Trains channel. But what's the advantage of using his smallest channel? That's not going to fill a trust fund. Well, actually, it's pretty clever. Remember those groups we were talking about? The ones who care enough about the controversy to seek Cody out and say negative things or try to inform his viewers, and then the blissfully ignorant fans. Consistency on YouTube isn't nearly as important as it once was, so a channel going on a months-long hiatus, honestly, it's unlikely to do much damage. So you can use the Cody Trains channel as bait to draw out the most dedicated naysayers and get them to move on before going back to your actual channel. It's not a bad idea, honestly. Worst case, if it backfired, the damage would primarily be on that channel, and it wouldn't have been a
It's a good point, and a lot of people will be like, well, that's not what these people do. Well, think when they have months of a break, they have time to consider what their next move is going to be.
Devastating loss for Cody if it went under. So a bit over a month later, in February 2025, Cody returned to what was acting as his main channel, Cody Co. And while yeah, he lost 60,000 of his subscribers upon returning, his monthly view count has been steadily climbing, already doubling from 4 to 8 million views by the end of 2025, pulling similar numbers to early 2023. And he's already stopped bleeding subscribers. I mean, there's not a month with a net gain yet, but with the weird way YouTube now shows subscriber counts, we can only track his numbers to the nearest 10,000. So in August of 2025, the loss was small enough for it to not even register, if that makes sense. Wow. And while sure, his views aren't back to 2024 levels, I mean, consistently hitting hundreds of thousands of views multiple times per week is going to be pretty lucrative in his niche. And it helps that his content is largely evergreen, meaning it'll never be outdated. So the views can continue to steadily climb for past uploads while ensuring he has a stacked catalog for future fans who will know nothing about the controversy. And while the Cody Co channel remains abandoned, I feel like that was inevitable. I don't know, I just feel like there's a growing trend of creators that lean on more high effort content that get burned out from it and then take one of two paths. Either they lean into more intentional marathon instead of sprinting formats like Eddie Burback, Danny Gonzalez, or Drew Gooden.
In 2025, what does it look like for someone in their late 20s living in a major city to completely get rid of their cell phone? Well, I'm going to find that out because over the next month, I will be locking my phone in this safe and I will not be opening it.
Or they switch over to more reactionary, off-the-cuff, or personality-based content that's easier to pump out on a spin-off channel. Think Nick is Not Green, Smosh, Rhett and Link, or Cody himself.
But if I were to hang around people my age who are in the real world, as I would call it, I'd be like, holy shit, I'm a child. What do you do? I read Reddit stories.
And why wouldn't you opt for that if your career goals don't involve making ambitious individual videos? Especially if you're Cody and the line between your main channel and spin-off are, what? Editing and a couple hours of research. If Cody Co's passion—
It's so interesting about the rebrand that so many of these people make.
Now is to be a DJ and musician, and prior to Vine, he worked in a completely unrelated field.
Yeah, does he still DJ? Let me look this up. What's Cody Co's DJing look like these days? Cody Co DJ. SoundCloud. He's been a DJ since 2022, apparently. That is a set that I do not want to go to. Is it too late now to say sorry?
So I wrote an app senior year of college that went viral, and I ended up selling it. And so I thought I was hot shit at the time, Mr. Tech Boy.
Mr. Tech Boy!
I thought I was the next Zuckerberg, apparently.
Then yeah, why would he not eventually opt for a somewhat creatively bankrupt infinite money glitch? Also, in case it's unclear that I don't like being sued, I'm not stating that Cody's great strategy was intentional or that he knew these pros or was intentionally trying to manipulate the variables impacted, because I can't read minds. However, for the actions he took, those are the relative pros that I think contribute to his success in a major way. Now, compare Cody Co to any of the countless canceled creators to come before him, and you gotta admit, his bounce back is pretty great for someone who wasn't absolved in the public eye, whereas Colleen is posting and not really doing too much more. I mean, both her monthly and average views are tapering off consistently over time, even though the dust of the controversy has long since settled. Also, while Cody has refused to acknowledge the controversy since, and it's all but died down, Colleen can't help but lob vague defenses and references towards her scandal.
Guys, have you seen— Oh my god! That's a recent video! That's referring to when she was reacting to Taylor Swift's album and Taylor Swift's song Cancel come on and she starts crying. I think that's an interesting point here, that so many people that get like outrageously called out will kind of address it or not address it and then never address it again. But with Colleen, she's such a snarky motherfucker and she so doesn't believe that she's done anything wrong, and she's so persistent on she needs her career to be at, you know, that level again, that she just cannot help herself in talking shit about like me or the others that called her out literally every couple weeks, or like doing a pity party for like, she says her life's like miserable after it now, and then that just doesn't help because then it brings people back to why you feel that way, why you're doing that, you know what I mean? The clip of Colleen Ballinger reacting to the Taylor Swift album, and when she gets to the song Cancelled, she's like in tears and she's like crying and she's like moved, and she basically is saying that like she identifies with the song. Or good thing I like my friends can't see.
Friends doing so on her behalf.
The internet
not this
can take a lie and run so far with it, far to the point where you just can't do anything about it. The problem is the internet was able to capitalize off of her cancellation, and they still are continuing to, and it's It's not okay because a lot of it is based off of lies.
And I would argue the vagueness on both sides just makes things.
My favorite thing is the audacity of just saying that. Like, it's so blatantly obvious what this situation is when you literally have that many screenshots of conversations.
Things worse for her. Like, I referenced that JoJo clip twice on this channel because she unilaterally calls the whole thing a lie without refuting it in any way. Which I would argue
literally, I love that as well. These people that say that it's lies, including Colleen, will never like try to combat it in any way. They'll just tell you that it's lies.
Just conversation of like, wait, it's a lie? How so? Wait, what's a lie? I didn't even know something happened. Yeah, insert very boiled down version that might even misrepresent the situation. Wow, she sucks. As opposed to an actual defense, which would help guide the ever crucial first impression that people will get. In other words, vaguely saying, I did nothing wrong, or I don't—
It's lies. Explain. No.
Deserve this, and letting the comments fill in the gaps, it's, not the best approach, right? So maybe you see now why I think Cody's success in the face of outrage is troubling for the future of content creation. It reinforces a pattern where accountability of any nature is inherently a bad business move for creators. So yeah, it creates a situation where there can be more of a cost in responding to a minor or untrue accusation than ignoring a major scandal until it goes away. And while yes, I was being tongue-in-cheek when talking about gender, there are absolutely countless similar factors that you could argue played a role. But call me crazy, I just think having a meltdown so bad and tasteless that it ruins an instrument for millions versus just being a chill guy result in a different outcome. So in cases like Cody where they seem invincible, it's worth noting that accountability can really only come from other creators. I mean, going from a safe, guaranteed, low-risk collaboration to untouchable is a big deal. It limits his exposure to new audiences and resources from the creator space. Like wanting to make a cinematic music video, but your favorite cinematographer doesn't want to risk the bad PR. Or you can get Ned Fulmer.
Ned Fulmer is no longer—
I love this video because Eugene is just serving the entire time. When I'm in a diva off and Eugene's my opponent, I'm killing myself.
working with the Try Guys.
So on Friday, September 16th, the three of us signed written consent of the members of Second Try LLC approving the removal of Ned as a manager and an employee.
Which actually kind of seems to have happened to Cody, as a huge source of income from him was his podcast with Noel Miller.
Oh, wait. I want to get to your point. The best thing you could have done, Adam, was scrolling through your messages with her, literally exposing the truth of your dynamic. Yeah, I can't believe I did that, but I honestly am glad I did it. I literally just pulled up our messages and just scrolled through them. Thank God I did that. Oh my God, because then it stopped the, like, you edited.
Who recently came out saying this.
I own a podcast network called TMG Studios. And just to make it clear, when I say I own it, I mean me alone by myself.
As well as sharing some of the ways that now his production company is planning to expand.
Earlier this year, we signed 5 new shows. Upstairs Neighbors, Not That Y'all Care, Crash Dummies, Are We Still Friends, and Big Al's Grill ASMR with Alec Flynn. In addition to these 5 shows, we have Brooke and Connor Make a Podcast, and of course, The Company Lot.
So while yes, Cody's still doing much better than the average person or creator, that's right, we aren't human, it's undeniable that between losing his company and a sizable portion of his viewership, he is hurting on some level. I guess the big what if is, can he pull essentially a Shane Dawson or Smosh and rebuild a dying brand by expanding to a new, broader audience? Though it's a bit of an uncharted territory since he started with that wide appeal instead of broadening the more specified genre of sketch comedy. All this to say that, if you ask me, the joke here is ultimately on Cody, because he just gets to live in his big house with a seemingly great family and the fortune he's already made while still getting to expand it at just a slowed rate from before. While I get—
Unfortunately, Shane Dawson is like the immoral cockroach of YouTube. You know what's interesting about Shane Dawson? Shane Dawson is one of those creators that, like, literally they'll rebrand and then every couple years they'll go back to the old content and then doing the old content. Like, literally within the next year, we're going to see, like, Shane Dawson. I think we're seeing it now with Nikki Karian with these videos as well, like, of people calling Shane out again. This is really interesting. This is the first time it's happened to Shane, though, where, like, he just isn't, like, Shane's, like, past the point of, like, addressing his, you know, old content now. Like, I don't think he will ever engage in that again, nor do I think that Shane Dawson will ever have as big of a cancellation or impact as what he did in 2020. I think we're past that point. I also think the world is moving, like, progressively, like, they're kind of, like, we're starting to see the same content that Shane Dawson got called out for, like, being recreated by people. Like, the amount of, like, huge influencers that I saw, like, literally posting blackface for Halloween and, like, going viral for it, like, all right, okay, sure. You know what I mean? Like, we're in such a horrible place right now. And also, I just want to, I'm so excited for the pendulum to switch again and, like, flip back again, that all of these people that are, like, you know, embracing, like, Nazi shit or posting, like, blackface and stuff like that as, like, a joke of, like, making fun of the left. I can't wait until a couple years, hopefully down the line, whenever the pendulum slips again and, like, they can never work again and they're, like, bankrupt and they're miserable and these, you know what I mean? Like, I just can't wait until that moment. I can't wait for that moment. I can't wait for us to, like, people make fun of, like, oh, 2020, this, like, term woke, like, people were too woke. I like can't wait for us to go back to that. I really, really, really can't wait for us to go back to that because we live in the worst times right now, by the way. Like, so anyways, really interesting point. And again, I think misogyny comes into this, but I also think ego comes into this. And I think that Cody Co was willing to lose ego and lose, you know, a little bit of his fame, whereas Colleen fought for it and the audience picked up on that. But that was a really, really, really great video. Again, this creator is called Jimmy Robbins. If you are not aware of him, I would go and subscribe, go check out. I have as well. I can't wait to watch more things. That was a really great, interesting video. And I'll see you in my next one, and goodbye.